Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Carl Bradley. He's with the University of Kentucky Extension Plant Pathologist there. So, Carl, we're going to talk about something today that we've talked about for many years, but it still seems to be an issue. And just to kind of review for everybody, it's soybean cyst nematode. What is that?
Well, soybean cyst nematode is a nematode, as what the name would suggest, and so that's a small roundworm that lives in the soil. So it's in just about every county that we grow soybeans in Kentucky. It is in the soil of a lot of those fields. It's actually the number one pathogen of soybean that we have in the U.S. Here in Kentucky, it causes approximately about $29 million of damage every year. So it is a real big problem for soybean growers in the state. And one of the major problems, Joanna, is that you don't see a lot of symptoms, above ground symptoms from it. So it may look like you have a crop, maybe kind of like what's behind me here in my picture, that looks just fine. And then you could be getting up to a 30% yield reduction because of those nematodes that are feeding on the roots of those soybean plants. When you think about management, knowing if you have the problem, and if so, how abundant, how many eggs there are in the soil is really important. So the Kentucky Soybean Board is, for the past few years, and they're continuing this, are sponsoring free testing for soybean cyst nematode. So to take advantage of this, you need to go out and sample your fields. It just takes a soil probe. You put that probe into the soil about anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. You need about a pint of soil is how much you need to collect. You can put that in like a Ziploc bag, and you can keep it in your refrigerator until you're ready to take it into your local county extension office. And so the way we kind of have it set up is the samples are going through the county offices, and then the agents then will send those off to a lab that will do the testing, and then everybody will get the agent and the grower, and even I will get to see some of those results. It kind of helps me know what's happening in the state.
And do farmers need to test each field or fields that are different in soil type, or what's the testing for that?
Any field that you have had a history of soybean production or that you're planning on growing soybeans in really should be tested. Now, you don't have to do this all in the same year. I would say if you could test one field about every 3 to 4 years to kind of keep track of what's happening, especially after you've done different management, you've done different crop rotations, et cetera, during those times. The best time to test is you can actually test at any time. You can pull those samples and test anytime, but the most accurate results are going to be when you don't have soybeans actively growing out there. So anytime between harvest and planting is really the best timing because that's going to give you the most accurate results.
We've gotten through a lot of soybean harvest because of the dry weather. And so if the soybeans are gone, it's actually a better time to take this sample then.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really the best time. It's easier to get out in the field and go in different parts of the field when you're not fighting those soybeans. And we've had some pretty good weather to go out and do some stuff this fall. So it would be great to go out and collect some samples, get those submitted, figure out what's going on in your field.
And so if those results come back and we do show a high threshold, what are some of the steps that farmers can take to kind of combat that?
Well, the number one thing is crop rotation. So that's going to help out a lot. Uh, Rotating with crops that are not hosts, so like corn, that can drop the population of soybean cyst nematode up to about 50%. So just 1 year of corn, you can drop those egg counts in your field by almost half. So that's the number one thing. Number two would be growing resistant varieties. And this is the part that's become a little bit more complicated because a lot of our varieties that are resistant are using the same source of resistance that we've used for the last 20 or 30 years. And so what's happened is that our population of soybean cyst nematode has sort of become resistant to the resistance. So that becomes a little bit trickier. But the good news is we've got some additional varieties that are coming soon, hopefully, to our area that use a different source of resistance. And so we'll be able to kind of fight that a little bit better when we have some varieties with a different source of resistance available to us. There's actually a couple of sites. One is the Crop Protection Network, so that's Crop Protection network.org. The other one is the SCN Coalition, so it's the scncoalition.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.